Alright, question 2. Ngizibonela ama-surds mina. I also see ama-exponents. Alright. In the description box, you'll find links for other questions. Your question 1, question 3, all the way up to the last question in the exemplar paper. Okay, so surds and exponents. It's our main focus. Like question 2. If you do enjoy the content, like, new, please subscribe. Alright, so the first question. Okay, Lana, it's an exponential expression in a way. Okay, so how do we solve this one? I'm going to 512. I see a number. I have to change it into a power. I see another number. I need to change this into a power. So the 512, you punch onto the calculator. 512, shift equal to factor 2 exponent 9 okay, bonakala to 29. 2 exponent 9, then x exponent 3 divided by 2 exponent 6, x exponent minus 3. So the 64 is actually 2 raised to exponent 6 when you punch this on the calculator. So Lana, outside we have the exponent -1/3. Okay, so this is okay. There's an exponential law 80. I have a power inside the bracket, and this bracket is raised to an exponent. Let's say y. The answer should be xy. So to remove the bracket, you just multiply lama exponents. So now Lana, we do the same. We take the exponents, multiply exponent, multiply exponent, multiply lo exponent, multiply that exponent, right? So see, remove the bracket. See, 2 9 times -1/3. That's -3 x. The exponent 3 ngi multiply no -1/3 ngizitholela -1 divided by 2 2. Then the 6 usipha -2 when multiplied no -1/3, and then the -3 times -1/3. I'm getting a +1. Okay, then another law of my exponents. Powers of the same base, when divided, you just minus or subtract the exponent. So about 2 -3 minus -2, x minus 1 minus 1. So this exponent subtracts the exponent. This exponent is subtracted that exponent. Ngoba ama bases wakhona the same. So lana siyobana 2 minus 3 plus 2 x -2. Then lana we get a 2 minus 1 x minus 2 equal to okay, I always make this a habit. I mean, whenever I simplify something and then I see what my exponents are negative, I just write them down as a positive exponent. So lana, I'm gonna have 1/2 1/x exponent 2. Not that the question says bhala ama exponents wakho as positive exponents. Mina, I could have left it here as well, but then mina, I make it a habit that I leave my exponents as positive exponents. Like, okay, I'm saying mina, I would have done this here. I would also do this as well, right? So if lazy kahle, but most of the time I just make sure that my exponents are left as positive exponents. Okay, so this should be our final answer. Lana, there's nothing else you can do except for changing my exponents to be positive. Yeah. All right, so next one, 2.1.2. Oh Jesus. Okay. You when a question when hey, okay. All right. Okay, you know what, this one I would break these powers first. That's the first thing I would do. X exponent n multiplied by x exponent 2 plus x exponent n x exponent 1 minus x exponent n minus x exponent n minus 1. No, komele ngikubreak now. What am I doing, mar? What am I doing? X exponent n multiplied by x exponent minus 1 divided by x squared minus 1. This looks like a difference of 2 squares, but into engayisho ukuthi yekele jongobi so for now, and then just make sense of what's happening lapha phezulu. All right, at first this may look like, oh okay, I think it may look like, or let me just say ukuthi kubonakala ngathi the only way out la ukuthi ukhiphe this as your common factor, ne? Then before the recording I did the question, then I was like ngiyayikhipha, but then it's gonna leave me with even more work. Kanjani ke? Kanjani? I take this out as a common factor, then what? I can't do anything further after this, after taking out that as a common factor. Then I was like, okay. I know that there's some factorization that should be done, but what kind of factorization? Then about okay, lama terms I fall out. Maybe it's factorization. Maybe it's factorization by grouping. By taking out the x exponent n kala, that didn't work. Then I got okay. You know what? You were in a first term, and which term is it? This one. Select her now, right? Select her now. It was more of an intuition kind of thing, right? Ngati wena as well, I'm gonna group you with this guy, right? So let's do that. So ngati ge x exponent n x exponent 2 minus x exponent n plus x exponent n x exponent 1 minus x exponent n times x exponent minus 1. So ngawa grouper like this. You'll see the reason why in a moment. So I take this out as a common factor. They want us to simplify without using a calculator. You know what? This one, it gave me nightmares. Broad daylight, baba. Okay, but I managed to say, okay, Lana, we are taking out this as a common factor. We are now left with x minus x minus 1. Alright, so the two lena, they were grouped, this were grouped. So ngithethe le two le ngayihlanganisa ngayigroupa ngibekela ekuqaleni. This and this ngayigroupa ngayibeka as the last two terms. Now I'm taking out or pulling out the common factor la, x exponent n. Okay. Alright. I see. You might not see this part as well as this part. So I think ilungise masinyana. La it's actually minus 1, and then lana it's x times x minus 1. I hope ukuthi uyayibona on the screen, because nangibhala it looks like ingenela ngale kakhulu. It's nathini iyashobela. Then lana sino x squared minus 1 equal to, okay, what's next again? Whoa, then I was like, okay, you can cancel that one, right? But then nine things oyenza la. I'm gonna say x exponent n in brackets x squared minus 1 divided by the denominator, this one, and say plus x exponent n x minus x exponent minus 1 over x squared minus 1, right? I can do this. I have two terms being separated by a plus sign. Nangenza so, wena you get cancelled by wena. I'm now left with this plus. Lana, there's nothing. It looks like there's nothing much that I can do. Looks like there's nothing much that I can do. Mara, what we can do is actually do this. X minus 1 over x. Then do the butterfly thingy. If we are just finding the LCM. After finding LCM inside this bracket, then multiply this term, divide by the LCM. In this case, the LCM is just x, or we can do the butterfly and say wena times wena gives us an x squared, 1 times 1 gives us a 1, and then divide by x times 1. So 1 x squared minus 1 equal to x exponent n plus x exponent n in brackets. So 1 x squared minus minus 1, sorry, minus 1 over x divided by x squared minus 1. Don't get confused. Lo x squared minus 1 wala phezulu. This one was for the inside bracket. Then we continue. 3 marks for this. Aye sir. Okay, back. Hear me out. I'm just breaking it down so that you understand. Ne? X exponent n plus x exponent n. Then we do it tip and times. Zoti in bracket sino x minus 1 over x multiplied by 1 over x squared minus 1. Cancel, right? Cancel. Then I'm left with the 1 and ubani x. So I'm gonna say x exponent n plus x exponent n over x, because the this one multiplies that x exponent n, and then siseleno x here, right? So therefore the final answer, there's nothing much that we can do except for dividing these two powers. Then sibano x exponent n minus 1, right? This is an exponential rule. You have two okay, number powers I2 are divided now. Since they have the same basis, you're just gonna subtract them exponents or corner. This is what we end up with. This is the simplification I did. I tried something else. It turns out to be it's even way longer than the thing in Zella, right? But I end up I get to the same point. This one, right? So okay, you're right. The answer I am right. Let's just stick with this one. At least I can explain this one. The other one, it didn't have a full video on its own. That method in 7 seal, the other one. Okay, but anyway, that's the interesting question being kuluma like question 2. Okay, next one. Manza mangane la. Like intimidate, man. Like intimidate. Okay, so Surds, we have an a Surd law 80. If I have two roots that are multiplying each other, square root a times square root b, what do I get? I'm gonna get square root bani a times b, square root a times b. Let me confirm. Square root 2 times square root 3, it's equal to 6, because of we take 2 same times on a 3, we get to 6, then we put that 6 under a square root, right? Under a square root. So nalana we do the same thing. It's basically the same idea. So sizowenza kanje ke la ku 2.1.3. I have the square root of a plus the square root of 2a minus 1 multiplied by a minus the square root of 2a minus 1. Okay, komele ngibhale phansi for a reason, so that ubone ukuthi this whole thing under the root, this whole thing iyafana no A, this whole thing under the root ifana no B, right? So into sizoyenza, we're just gonna multiply and have only one square root. Sizobana something like this. Square root of the first value, which is A plus, but this time you ifaka ku bracket because of there are two terms now, multiplied by A minus the square root of 2A minus 1. Ganj again. Okay, ganj. Check this out. I have A plus minus, I have the square root of 2A minus 1, square root of 2A minus 1. This is a difference of two squares. Gahle lana, what I'm trying to say with it, it's time to FOIL. Wena times wena, that's gonna be something way big, something very big. But now we identify, now we are convinced with this is a difference of two square. I just say A times A, I get A squared. I get an A squared like this, A squared bracket, and then minus the square root of 2A minus 1 in bracket squared, close the bracket. Guys, close the bracket. This is a difference of two squares. You just multiply the first and the first, last and the last. Instead of doing the FOIL thing, you'll end up with something big. I'm not saying what is wrong now we are FOIL. It's fine, but I don't want to have something long with question paper because you might end up getting confused with which is which. Agupama like terms, but the uzokhona identify, but it's just a big headache. Okay. Always look for such things that will solve more problems. Even in trigonometry, you might find in this fananali. So Lana, we're gonna have an A squared minus, then the square removes the square root. You might be asking yourself, squared. It's because of this being multiplied by that, it's actually squared. Just like A times A, it's A squared. Wena times wena, because you are the same, you're velling in figure inside a bracket and say square, right? Wena cancel wena. I'm now left with ubani. I'm putting it in brackets again. 2A minus 1. 2A minus 1. Close the bracket. Yeah, hey, this is a challenge, man. This was a big challenge. This question paper. Then sibano 2A no plus 1. Guys, right? Then we now have a trinomial. You factor this out. Uma we factorize, uzobona ukuthi I actually have A minus 1 no A minus 1 like this. Ngifuna 2A number. Ngizodwa ngizimultiply nginikeza positive 1. Minus 1 no minus 1. And the very same numbers, uma ngithi ngiyaz add azinginikeza minus 2. Minus 1 and minus 1, they give me minus 2. So this is how you get number factors wako for a trinomial. So since the brackets are the same, instead of writing them as A minus 1, we can just say A minus 1 squared. Ngwapala is a squared so that I can simplify this further. So that the square root cancels out that squared. A minus 1. This is our final answer. The question paper. This question 2, very dangerous. Very dangerous. 2.2. 2.2. See this. We are given a massage again. But this time, they want us to determine, without the use of the calculator, the values of x, y, and z. This was a clever question, very clever question, a very clever question. I wonder labantwana bebapalala baboneni mar. Yes, the department dibahlukumezile la. I'm joking. It wasn't that of a difficult question. It just needed imagination yakho kancane. Okay, check this out. Manje ke, you know what I want to do? Ngifuna ukusimplify such that kusala the x plus the bracket ka x plus y square root z on its own on one side of the equation, meaning that kwamele divide by 1 minus the square root of 2. 1 minus square root of 2, nangapha you do the same, 1 minus square root 2. Cancel, ngisala no x plus y, the square root of z equal to minus 3 plus the square root of 2. Then go by 1 minus the square root of 2. Okay? Then kumele simplify, right? Uma iso, it doesn't help us that much. Ayisincedi ngalutho. Uma imeso, there's nothing I can say. X, Y, and Z. There's nothing I can say. So, with ama-surds, you should know something. Uma ngabe bakupha an expression involve ama-surds, then you see ukuthi that expression has a fraction, and one of the terms la ngaphansi has a root, has a surd. Just know that ukuthi uzo-rationalize lapho. What is rationalization? Wenza kanje. Okay, we rationalize kanjani? Uzothi 1 plus the square root of 2 over 1 plus the square root of 2. You are basically multiplying by ubani? 1. You are just multiplying by ubani? 1, because this divided by this, it's actually 1. Why am I using 1 plus square root 2? It's coming from logo, from the denominator. Utata the denominator, ubala the opposite sign between the two terms. Then we are multiply again afterwards. X plus y square root z is equal to negative 3 plus the square root of 2. 1 plus the square root of 2 divided by 1 minus square root 2. 1 plus square root 2. 1 plus square root 2. Then you multiply the brackets. This time we are foil, but the denominator, it's a difference of 2 squares again. 1 plus y square root z is equal to, then the numerator we have no choice but to foil. Minus 3 times 1, negative 3. Minus 3 times that square root 2. It's minus 3 square root 2. Then the square root 2 multiplied by 1, I'm getting a square root 2. Then the square root 2 times the square root 2, ngithola plus 2. Divided by difference of 2 squares. Lana I don't have to foil. I'm just going to say 1 times 1, it's 1. Minus square root 2 times positive square root 2, ngithola minus 1 minus 2. Right, because the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is just 2, right? Going back to ama laws, ama principles or ama surds, it's basically if unama, let's say unama power, not ama powers, but terms afanayo under the same root, and I am multiplier like this, yoba a, because of the square roots, they actually sort of like, they give us 1, ne? They give us exponent bani 1. Exponent 1. It's a principle. If you multiply ama roots afanayo and under the root you have the same values as well, you're gonna have the answer yako as this. Okay, so that's why ngiba no 2 la. Then it's x plus y z square root z is equal to, la phezulu kunama like terms, wena and wena you are a like term, so bano minus 1. You and you are like terms, so bano minus 2 square root 2 divided by 1 minus 2, that's minus 1, right? Minus 1. So x plus y, I hope good by now you know we are able to tee up this thing. I hope you do. I hope you do. Now nyothatha this minus 1 divided by this minus 1, yonginikeza plus 1. This minus 2 square root 2, you divide that by minus 1, I'm gonna get to plus 2 square root bani 2. then it means that x is actually equal to that one. The y is equal to lo 2. Lo z is equal to that 2 as well. So it means my x is equal to 1, my y is equal to 2, then my z is equal to 2. Naso-ke. Question 2 defeated. 10 out of 10. Sim defeated. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If we enjoy this recording, this lesson, please leave a like. Nanga we new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Check out the description box for more content. Mina ngizobona on the next one. Sharp.